AB, ambassador for the SA20. You were unemployed for a little bit. Tell us about this new gig.
Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Hello, everyone. Yes, ambassador for the SA20 League, the Betway SA20 League. It's been very exciting. I think you've all of you who followed the games would have seen the crowds, the excitement, the quality of cricket, and I'm just happy to be involved. To be honest, I've missed the game obviously over the last while, and it's just nice to watch some cricket and to see it from a different angle and to feel emotionally attached to it as well. I mean, it's our local tournament. I've always wanted South Africa to have this special T20 league, and finally it's here.
You got mobbed at the Wanderers the other day, Josie Super Kings. Did it make you miss it even more?
Oh, tough question. For sure, I feel there's always a responsibility to interact with the crowd, with fans, with past fans, current fans, and there were some fans at the Wanderers. Also, when I was in Cape Town and Paarl, I got to interact with some people there, especially the kids, which makes me very excited about the future of our game, to see them out there at the grounds again. And all the commentators who have had something to say in the commentary box have all touched on that, because that's what's in your face, you know. That's how we all grew up. I certainly had my first feel for the game at the age of, well, I was very young, around 11 I think was my first game at Centurion. And I remember how that inspired me and made me feel, so it's great to see the kids enjoying it as well now.
And I believe you had a few nerves going into the commentary box, starting something new. How was that?
Definitely. I think anything in life that you do for a first time, obviously the adrenaline is there, you feel the butterflies. There's always that fear of failure with anything you take on. I even had fear of failure towards the end of my career, so which I did for about 20 years. So it was very normal, and I feel when there are butterflies, it's always a good thing. It reminds me that it's important to me to do a good job, to deliver a good product. And certainly, yeah, very nervous in that first gig in Cape Town. We had some audio issues. I've never even knew the commentators had stuff in their ears, listening to all kinds of voices from the producer and countdowns. So it was complicated, but at the end of the day, I was watching a cricket game and just giving my views on it, and that was very easy. So very enjoyable.
And obviously it helped massively that opening game and a few others have been full houses. That to see that energy in the crowd and back in South African cricket must be awesome for you as well.
Absolutely. It truly is a game changer for us. That's what's been lacking for the last 5 to 10, 15 years, maybe even longer. We always needed some players from overseas, the best players in the world, to come over here to pull in the crowds and to inspire the youth of South Africa. And I think Graham Smith and everyone involved at Cricket South Africa, Supersport, all the sponsors that have come on board, huge credit to all of you, and thanks. I think we'll only see the impact of all of this in maybe 3 to 5, maybe even longer years. Took a while for the IPL to take off, and I think we must just be patient, and down the line we'll see the impact of this tournament. I'm very excited, and I can see where it's headed, so it's great for our cricket.
You've said before that a tournament like this can help South African cricket hugely. We've already seen a couple of youngsters really stamping their authority in the tournament. Devil Brevis, Donovan Ferreira. Just tell us maybe which performances have you enjoyed the most so far in the competition?
Yeah, maybe too many to mention. It's difficult to mention names because you might leave a few out. But the few you mentioned there, Devil Brevis, Jordan Herman, I didn't even know about the guy. He's a local boy as well from Pretoria. So the first time I watched him play, I thought he was an overseas player, to be honest. And I saw a couple of shots, and I quickly Googled while I was commentating, and I saw that he was in Pretoria. I'm not going to say what school because he was not in one of my favourite schools, but he's a fantastic player with a lot of potential. The list goes on. Marco Jansen, all the players, so many youngsters that have put up their hands. And I can't explain to you, I can explain to you what it means to these players. All of a sudden they are seen on a global stage. The IPL teams will be watching this, the Caribbean League, the 100, the Big Bash. All these coaches and directors of cricket all over the world are seeing these youngsters all of a sudden, youngsters that came out of nowhere, If I don't even know about the guys, I mean, how amazing is that? So that is the impact this has. Opportunity for players to go and earn money abroad, pick up experience. It's life-changing, to be honest. And they come back and play for South Africa. They're ready. They're experienced. They've played all around the world. They've compared themselves to the best players in the world, the Josh Butlers. So it's truly the value of this tournament is bigger than we all think.
Yeah, definitely. The Betway SA20 said it's going to change lives. And I mean, for a player who's not played in front of these crowds, how much energy do you get from the crowd when you're out in the middle and you hit a stroke for 4 and a whole stadium roars?
That's the other thing, the other side of it that I didn't touch on. The first time I played in India, in an IPL game, 2008, you've got nowhere to go. You've got to learn on your feet. You've got to think on your feet. And there's no room for slowing down, you know. You either swim or you drown. So all of a sudden, our youngsters have this kind of exposure. Not just I keep saying youngsters because I think of the future. I think of 10 years down the line, what kind of impact that'll have on the Proteas. But for the youngsters and anyone else with a little bit of less experience, all of a sudden play in front of huge crowds with the best players in the world, and it's swim or drown. That's the kind of environment you want your players to play in. And all of a sudden, we have a tournament like that, and all our players have the opportunity to put up their hands and to get into those teams. The players who missed out this year will be looking at this tournament going, okay, I'm going to the gym, I'm going to hit 10 times more balls, I'm going to work out my skills, I'm going to call people like Vern Philander, Morne Morkel, to pick up some tips on my skills and improve my bowling and take my game to the next level, because next year I want to be in this Betway SA20.
You mentioned a few important names in South African cricket. It must be nice also to see some old teammates involved, giving back to the game, coaching, assistant coaching, everywhere around the Betway SA20.
Now, there's another area. You see it in the commentary boxes. See Vern there, Kevin Peterson, Mark Boucher, Herschel, Ashwell, the list goes on. For me, it was very refreshing to catch up. I haven't seen these guys for a long time, especially guys like Boucher and Ashwell and Hirsch. They retired quite a lot earlier than me, and you miss them, you know. We brothers when we played together, and to see all these faces in the teams. I mean, Morne Morkel is here, Adrian Birrell. Once again, too many to mention, but it's all local guys. Obviously, yes, here and there are overseas coach involved as well, and that's very important. But it's just great to see guys like Zulu and Jonty. I mean, think about the youngsters that spend time with these guys. All of a sudden, Jonty Rhodes is coaching you, and Zulu, who was the man of the tournament in that 99 World Cup. It was 99 World Cup in England. So I would love to sit down with him. I've never had that opportunity. So all of a sudden, they are coaching these teams, and it's just fantastic.
We've seen some special performances, and I think in that very last game with the Wanderers, obviously we saw the first Betway SA20 century. Good to see Faf make some big runs.
Unbelievable. I was commentating that day, and I sent Fafi a message. I told him it was so much fun just sitting on this side, watching my school friend. We've been friends for ages, and watching perform and actually commentating and saying stuff about his batting. I don't think it was his most fluent knock, and he would say so himself. But once he got going, there was nothing that was going to stop him, and he was destined to win that game for his team. That's also goes hand in hand with the way that the yellow jerseys play the cricket in the IPL. You know, they're always a fighting team, always street smart, and the best players and the main players always find a way to stand up in those big moments. And Fafi did that, so I was very happy for him. I think the script was written perfectly to have a South African stalwart to score the first 100 in our own local league. So it was fantastic to watch.
I don't know if you're allowed to say, do you have a team as an ambassador, or do you have to support everyone?
I don't. It's tricky because I have friends everywhere, but I'm not connected to any other teams. Obviously, I'm local, Pretoria boy. I do think they have a fantastic team, coincidentally. Very balanced, some informed batters, pace bowlers, good spinners, so very balanced team there. But I mentioned in that very first game that I commentated, I looked at Paul and Mumbai, the two teams there, and I thought to myself, Mumbai, my Cape Town, Paul Royals. I thought they were two very, very good teams. Both of them in tricky situations, but I would be surprised not to see some of them there. And obviously the yellow jerseys put up their hands now. I've mentioned 4 now, so I haven't really answered the question. But let's go with my local team, the Pretoria Capitals.
Yeah, the break came at a nice time. The one other thing that we've seen in this tournament, which you've obviously were famous for, is some exceptional catching. Do you have one that stands out for you? There was Will Jack's crazy catch on the boundary, but is there one piece of fielding that stands out for you?
Yeah, Jack's catch was pretty good. He did slow it down a little bit towards the end, just to time his run, which he lost half a point there. But my number one catch would go to Jimmy Neesham at Centurion. He was standing at point. For those of you that haven't played cricket before, when you stand at point, it's a weird angle. You all of a sudden just see the ball slice off the bat. So there's no time like with a high catch, or when you stand at mid-off, you can see the angle of the bat. It's a reaction catch, and he went with his weak hand as well, his left hand. It was like Jonty Rhodes, it's the stuff that Jonty Rhodes used to pull off back in the day. And Jimmy Neesham, the New Zealand cricketer, pulled off a fantastic catch there.
There's obviously a lot of people who've done a lot of work in the background to get this Betway SA20 off the ground, but especially today we can't not mention Graham. I believe he's turning 52 or 42 somewhere there.
He looks 52.
Just a word. I mean, you played under him. To see him in this new role, leading a revolution in SA cricket, how proud are you of him?
I'm just happy for him. I can't say enough good stuff about him. He's influenced my life tremendously and impacted me, inspired me. So many things. He was a fantastic leader of the Protea team when I arrived there. He was a huge reason why I was able to learn quickly. He was on my case the whole time and with good advice, never breaking me down, but being hard on me. I think the minute I heard that he was going to get involved with Cricket South Africa, I was extremely excited. I know he's a guy that never backs down to a challenge. He was always going to find a way to do something like this. I didn't see this coming at all. He never mentioned it to me. All of a sudden it was in the news and we all heard, hey, hold on, there's a league coming here. And I thought, I'm not surprised. Yeah, so from me to Biffy, thanks and well done. What a great effort. I knew you were always capable of stuff like this. I don't want to get too emotional about it, but I'm just really happy for you. I think this is going to change the face of South African cricket. It's going to ultimately help us win that World Cup that we all want so dearly. So well done, bud, and I think the whole of South Africa is proud of you.
And just before I let you go, we've got quite a few questions. I'm going to pick one or two. Srida says, how do you feel about upcoming Proteas performing on a stage like the SA20, Betway SA20?
Yeah, it's very exciting. We watched our Proteas perform very well against England. I think we're a little bit under pressure with today's game. England got well above 300 there, but we're 2-0 up in the series. Already clinched the series against the White Ball Kings, the World Cup champs, the guys who have looked and are the most unbeatable team at the moment. So, and we achieved that. I think a large part of that's because of this T20 league. These our guys were in form. They were practicing. They all of a sudden had a level of cricket where you got to play well to perform. And we walked straight into the series prepared, battle hardened, and we saw the results. Hopefully we can chase this and make it 3-0, which would be a very memorable series win. But as I mentioned before, we'll see the impact of this tournament down the line. I can't put enough emphasis on the value of this tournament, the impact it'll have on our youngsters, our senior players as well, the platform they have, and just the amazing privilege of sharing a dressing room with some of the best players in the world and learning from some of the best coaches in the world.
Another one from our YouTube comments, Kartik Kumar says, what are your thoughts on the pitches in the Betway SA20? Obviously, such an important part of the game to allow batsmen to express themselves, but still give bowlers a little bit of something to be competitive as well.
I've heard some murmurs about the wickets that are not good. That's part and parcel of the game. It'll be boring if you bat on flat wickets the whole time and get 200 plus. You want the bowlers to be in the business as well. You want it to be a competition between bat and ball, and to have for the fielders to be involved as well. So I've enjoyed it. I know the pole wicket was a bit slow, but those last two games, if you're a cricket lover, you would have seen some very amazing tactical play from both the captains, both the teams. You could see these guys were prepared, knew exactly what to expect, knew 150, 160 was a winning score. Changes everything, and if you have the eye for that on the television screen, you'll be able to pick up these little moves that the players have, the tactics of maybe bowling it a bit wider, taking pace off the ball. All this stuff is part of the game. Same with the IPL. You get 120 all outs often there. and then you get wickets that deliver 230 and 240. So we also have that. I think of the Wanderers wicket, the Centurion wicket, even the P wicket had a 200 plus. But then again, a 120 all out, and I like that. I know people want entertainment and 200 pluses. I feel it's boring. So it's good for the game that there's a challenge between bat and ball.
There was always going to be one of these. Ankush Mishra says, any chance of AB playing in the SA20 in some years to come, or is that too optimistic?
I don't want to get myself in trouble, but I was asked a couple of times, are you sure you're not available? From some of the teams, even halfway through the tournament here, and I'm not going to lie, that childish side of me felt like, maybe just one more. And then as soon as I got home, those evenings, I just went like, what are you doing? Just even thinking about it. It's not there anymore, you know. The rush and adrenaline of holding a bat and hitting sixes and fours and winning games will always be there. But the rest is just done for me, you know. I have a different life now, I have family, I have different challenges. I've closed that book, unfortunately, but the love for the game will always remain.
Okay, I'm going to give you one last one because we're still going to catch up with you before the final on another one of these. But the break, which is not going to happen ever again in this Betway SA20, does it come at a good time for a team that's got momentum, or would you have preferred to play all the way through and it stops and now you have to sort of start again?
So it's an interesting question. I think the Joburg Super Kings would have. I think they love the break. Built up nice momentum. They're right there in the top half of the log now, and now they've time to reset and take that momentum into the next leg of the tournament. For some of the teams who lost back to back, they're going into the rest. It would be very frustrating, feeling like we just want to bounce back and now we got to go rest. So it's an interesting dynamic. I don't personally enjoy a break. I had a lot of my friends asking me, what happened now? Who won? Where's the tournament? But it's very easy. Just follow the Twitter handles and follow the news and you'll know what's going on. But yes, let's see what happens when the guys come back, the guys with confidence. I think you'll see the guys like Mumbai, Cape Town and Joburg Super Kings take that momentum that they picked up just before the break and take it through, and they'll probably see them in the knockout stages.
And just final reminder, when are we going to hear AB in the press box and in the commentary box again?
Yeah, so I'm doing both the knockout, both the semi-finals and the final. So I've 3 games left. I didn't want to overcommit, you know, with my first commentating stint, and get halfway through and feel like I'm burnt out. This is not for me. I'm traveling too much again. So I just wanted to take it slow and see how much I enjoy it and plan accordingly. And I've had a lot of fun so far.
Okay, Betway SA20 Ambassador AB de Villiers, thanks for your time. We'll catch you soon.
Thank you, and thanks for listening, everyone.